It's not a puff and it's not a flake. It's more than both of those.
The greatest name in cereals.
Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Cereal Trash Talking. As always, your hosts, DA and Rob. And today we've got a jam-packed episode. We're going to be reviewing the amazing Captain Crunch berries there. But speaking about Crunch, Tiger Woods involved in a bit of a car accident this week. Second all-time major golf champion. We just wish you all the best, Tiger, and hope to see you out on the links again very shortly. So without further ado, let's crack into Captain Crunch berries.
Beauty. Cool. Great intro there, DA. And thank you to the Brothers for providing our intro music, which is the first time we're dropping it today. So hope you all enjoy. Absolutely fantastic. Now, DA, what can you tell me about Captain Crunch's berries before we rip in here?
Okay, so Captain Crunch berries, a little bit misleading. So Captain Crunch is not a captain. According to the US Navy, he would be considered an admiral.
I'm just feeling ripped off.
Well, I mean, he looks pretty good. Now, the captain's actual name is Horatio Magellan Crunch. And he first came about in 1963. So Captain Crunch is 63. No, sorry, that's wrong. He is 58 years old.
Thank you. Just to confirm with our viewers, DA is an accountant. He's well accomplished. And without an Excel sheet, it is a struggle sometimes, but we'll get there. What do we rip into the smell test, eh?
Oh, I forgot how sweet it smells.
Oh, my days. What the hell? This is miles away from Reese's and CTC that we've had over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah. It just, what does it smell like?
Artificial.
It almost, yeah. It smells like those like sherbet sticks you used to be able to buy.
Yeah, I can feel that. Well, I can smell that. Well, I'm not going to try it. Wow, actually.
It's pretty good so far, to be honest.
Jeez. Actually, after the smell test, I think it was quite a poor smell test from my point of view, but just dry test, bloody hell.
Yeah.
It reminds me, maybe it'll come to me during the episode, but the taste is eerily similar.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Get that pull going.
You can get a good sized bowl of these. They come out smooth. Holy. Now, rip in here. Full satch. I'm back on my full fat milk here, DA.
Yeah.
Cereals that I've done with the almond and the oat, I think I've missed a beat. So
yeah.
I'll let that. That's a fun fact for viewers there. Full fat is a bit of a treat.
Well, I've gone full fat today as well.
Especially for milk satch levels, it's just different.
Yeah.
It just hits different.
Yeah. So Rob, I'm excited to see what you think of the cereal. Give the old little mix around
here, my man. What do we got here? That crunch, wow, that's proper crunch actually. Man, this is all right.
It's actually like it kind of looks a little bit like pumice, like a pumice stone, but it actually breaks down really easy. I expected it to just absolutely still hurt a bit more like the Reese's Puffs.
to rip the roof of your mouth apart.
This is very Moorish.
Our key CTT, key 5 criteria of our CTT measuring test is we'll do our smell test, our dry test, our flavor integration test, structural integrity, and Moorishness, guys. So I know we've always mentioned these, and that's what we try and stick to with this test. And this is actually, it's going all right. I wasn't such a fan after the smell test, but man, it's growing on me.
Oh. So the different colors in the berries, they don't represent different flavors. There are like so many different iterations of the cereal, and we'll be doing some more in future episodes. So there's the original Captain Crunch, which is just these gold pieces that you see here. You've got Captain Crunch peanut butter. You've got a Halloween edition. You've got chocolatey Captain Crunch with berries. So yeah, I mean, we'll endeavor to get through those in future episodes. But Rob, the green color, I mean, if you can see that with a little bit of milk saturation, reminds you of the Boston Celtics team colors, doesn't it? And I mean, that's our first talking point. So the Celtics have come under a bit of scrutiny lately. I mean, they dropped.
That's an understatement, isn't it?
So now they're below 500. I mean, they got up yesterday and managed to salvage a win. But I mean, there seems to be some calls for Brad Stevens' head. Brad Stevens, the former Butler, he was the coach while I was there.
Yeah, your favorite.
He is my favorite, and I mean, I also followed the Celtics, and it would be an absolute shame to see him go. I don't necessarily think it's his coaching. I mean, there was talk when Kyrie first went to the Celtics that Brad Stevens would maybe be able to coach him. But I actually think this is more of a personnel issue, because I mean, Kemba's out consistently with injuries, and I'd say the same thing with Gordon Hayward when he was with the team before moving to Charlotte. But the point I would make is, who should they have spent the money on to retain more, Gordon Hayward or Kemba Walker? Because I think the problem, well, not the problem with the Celtics is, but Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are the key figures of that team. And the team needs to be built around those guys. And I think that Kemba kind of muddies the mix there.
You mean, well, Kemba's sort of taking the same place that Kyrie done, right? It was like whenever Kyrie was in there, I know it's slightly before Tatum and Brown hit their stride.
Yeah.
But it is muddying the waters. Whose team is this? Are we taking too much playing time away from the young guys? That was the narrative 2 years ago. And it's the same narrative that's sort of creeping in. Of course, Tatum and Brown have a lot more stats now. We can clearly confirm that this is their team. But Kemba did come in as a bona fide superstar in his own right. But now he's in that same mold of, Kemba, this is not your team. You've been out injured. You're clearly out of form. What is your damn role? We've talked about, I know between me and you, DA, that sometimes this is where good guards go to die in Boston. So, form drops, and the actual Celtics have more talking points off the court than on the court. But Brad Stevens is definitely on the hot seat. A team with his kind of talent below 500 in a weak division, or weak conference, it just cannot be tolerated. And how many more chances do you give Brad? Brad, even though he went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, maybe he could have done better. He did get dropped by the Heat, but personally, I'm a fan of Brad, and he obviously deserves a chance. But there is enough chatter, to make him feel concerned that he needs to turn it around. And I know Stephen A. said it, and I mentioned it to you, is that it's not, you miss shots, you drop a few games, but it's the effort on the defensive side of the ball which is missing. You don't see guys fighting through screens. You don't see them, chasing back on defense. It's those small things that feel like there's a disconnect between coach and player, which I think is more telling. The talent's not rising, or the cream's not rising to the top. So if they fix that up, I think
very valid points. And I think the one thing I do remember when Gordon Hayward came back from that season off after his ankle injury, and Brad basically put him straight back in the squad. And there was a bit of dissension within the team because they were like, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown worked amazing while Gordon was out, and then all of a sudden they're sharing the ball around a little bit more and not getting the same looks that they once had. So interesting time to head for the Celtics. I really hope they don't sack Brad, but I guess we'll just have to see what happens.
I don't know if there's too many good coaches out there that are better than Brad, that deserve a chance.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's a bit of pressure on them, but I don't think it's real pressure right now.
No,
and they're going to come good. I imagine if they fall out of the playoffs, then hey, you got an issue. If they can't make the 8, and then he's probably going to get sacked. But highly unlikely in the Eastern Conference.
Agree. So next talking point was Deshaun Watson and Carson Wentz. So two high-profile quarterbacks.
Yeah.
We see that Wentz is now signed with the Indianapolis Colts. The question I would ask you, Rob, is: are the Colts better with Carson Wentz or without him?
I think what the Colts have signed up for with Carson is a better version of the Carson that's been in Philadelphia for the last year, and probably the 2 years before that as well. Admittedly, DA, that is not very difficult to be a better version of what he has shown because he has been atrocious. But what reports are saying is that if you give Carson Wentz a bit of help and you can protect him, then he can still be how many years ago? 2-3 years ago, he can still be an MVP quality quarterback. And during that reign, he had Frank Reich, who used to be a coach within the Philadelphia system, who's now gone to the Colts. And we're presuming, highly hypothetically presuming, that he's going to go rejoin Frank Reich, get protected, and regain some of that form. So based off that, if he gets some form and he can put it into a good team like the Colts, they're going to do better than a 7th place finish, scraping into the finals. They might, increase their position 6-5. Their division is winnable. They did. Who did they drop their division to? They dropped their division to the Titans. That division is still winnable, and they'll probably win a divisional playoff game. So from my point of view, yes, they will be a better team by where they finish ranking in the season, and they'll win a divisional playoff game. Any more up from there, I think would be a stretch in the very first season. I think it would be a very big stretch. But hey, that's me. So I'm saying they are a better team based on those hypothetical scenarios that he regains form. Yeah, and he fucking stays healthy.
Yeah, that's the point.
Ability is availability.
Yeah. So
that's his biggest downfall. Wentz's biggest downfall is his actual players just don't like him.
yeah, that's right.
And apparently it helps in a team game. It helps in a team game if your teammates like you. Oh, bloody hell.
Did you know that? Yeah.
Oh, crazy. Oh, man.
So, I mean, it's just as easy to get along with the front office people as well. Talking about front office people, Deshaun Watson. I mean, everyone's
leaving. Man, he loves his owners, eh? He loves his owners in his front office. That's great. It's great. What do we say about this story? The story that always keeps giving, eh?
Yeah.
Okay, the latest that I've heard, DA, is that he's met with the new coach, David Culley. I think he met with him last Friday or another date. David Culley coming in trying to salvage the situation to have D. Watson on the roster. But Watson has clearly told the coach that I do not want to be here. I want to be traded. So, hey, messaging is pretty clear from Watson. So that brings us to, we've talked about Miami, the Jets, the Niners possibly being chances, led by Miami. But you know what's come as a smoky pick, DA, that I've just heard in the last week?
Tell me.
The Panthers. The Panthers have turned into an absolute smoky. And you know what? What's better than a smoky? Maybe a whole team that's created cap room, got rid of their Pro Bowl DTs just to get enough money for them to say, you know what? We're going all in for this lad. Teddy Bridgewater, see ya.
Yeah.
Come on, Short, see ya. If we're going to get D. Watson, hey, this is going to make our franchise. So why not? And I love that from him. I love that from the owner. It's like, hey, this is our guy. This is our chance. Lay it on the line. So
okay, I'm just going to do it.
I'm going to be honest. I was wait for your call up.
Okay.
I'm actually enjoying it better than I thought I would.
Yeah, me too.
Even with the crunch factor, I know the crunch factor stays around, especially on the initial phase, but it kind of softens quite quickly, eh? And I don't mean that in a negative way as well.
No, I don't mind the soggy cereal.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no Snickers puffs, but it's still pretty good.
Oh, the legend. If you don't know our Snickers puffs reference, viewers, please go back and see the last episode because you'll be treated to some absolute special moments.
Rob, so I want to get your take on rumors this week that Russell Wilson he's put up 4 teams that he would be happy to go and play with One of those being the Dallas Cowboys. Okay, so you're a Cowboys fan. You basically would want to marry Dak Prescott if you could. I mean, do you want Russell Wilson? I mean, because to me, I don't know if I would, but I'm interested to hear your viewpoint. Get rid of Dak, trade him up to Seattle.
Agreed. First off, hearing the news, yes, I'll trade him straight off. You're going 1-for-1. Hey guys, Seattle, you take Dak. We'll take Russell via a sign and trade deal that has been, speculated upon. Then I would go, yes, 100%. We want Russ, and Russ wants to be a part of America's team because Russ wants to be great. That's what I'm hearing along the grapevine. Sierra, welcome. Dallas, great city for you to love and enjoy. So that's all great portions of it. But I think what we really do get is we get a proven winner, and what he gets is he gets protection in the pocket. There's not a lot of better offensive lines when healthy that you can get better than Dallas. So if you can get that, you can use some weapons. Why wouldn't you want to come to the Cowboys from that point of view? A team that we keep saying week in, week out that they should be a team that's competing for the Super Bowls, NFC championships minimum, also in a weak division. So there's plenty of opportunity. So from that point of view, Wilson, you're right. He's already in the headlines, but once you become the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, you're a bona fide superstar, even though you don't warrant it on most occasions. So I think that's the trade-off. He gets to come to a team that's got protection and it's got weapons, and we get a bona fide winner. So if that's the biggest contentious point between Jerry and Dak, signing years, money, we don't know if you're the guy. Well, Russell's the guy. There's no question that Russell's the guy. So he's a top 5 guy that you're going to bet the house on. So yes, 100%.
Yeah.
DA, I heard that news. I want Russell. And you know what that really does? It squashes all the talk about contracts. It's like, Russell, mate, we'll pay you 40 million. Don't worry about it. You're not questioning Russell on 40 million, are you?
No, not at all.
100%. If they want that plus a first rounder, take it. Go for gold.
Yeah.
First round of next year, first round of this year, go for gold. Love it. I think everybody would be quite happy, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. It's
not like Dak's going to a team of scrubs. Hey, so he's still got DK Metcalf up there. He's still got
that's true. That's true. And I think the other thing you've got to remember that Dak Prescott's coming off a pretty horrible leg injury. So, I mean, I hope he comes back just as good, if not better. But it's another consideration, right? So let's see what happens there. Because then America's team could actually win a game.
Stop it. Did you hear that? Shivers. That's shivers, mate. Imagine that, winning a Super Bowl before the Patriots. You beauty. Then we'll be tied with Tom Brady. How good would that be?
Yeah. Your entire organization. No. You wouldn't. You'd still
clearly
be
Russell's going to win too. He's going to win at least two.
Yeah. So, Rob, let's change tack completely now. Some exciting games over the weekend with the Six Nations. I didn't catch all of them, I must admit, but I did watch the England-Wales game. And as a proud All Blacks fan, I was pretty pleased to see the Welsh boys get up over the English.
Indeed.
Though, I mean, did the Welsh really get up over the English, or did the English shoot themselves in the foot with the amount of penalties and prime positions for the Welsh just to execute? I mean, I've got more to say, but yeah.
At the end of the day, it was a cracking contest, an exciting contest. And for your viewers who don't know what the Six Nations is, it is a 6-nation competition of European rugby that's fought out each year between England, Wales, Scotland, France, Italy, and Ireland. So, hotly contested. I know us being both All Black fans, it's bad viewing time, so we don't often get to see it. But once you're over here, you're into it every Saturday afternoons through February and March, and it's absolutely outstanding. Especially once we can get back down into the boozers and every few pints watching the game, then we'll be living the dream. So the best contest on over the weekend was, like DA was Wales, England. And what happened in that game, DA, was a bit of everything. The ball was moving, it was great conditions to play in because we had a great Saturday afternoon. I was playing in Wales. And what it was Wales taking their opportunities, getting the rub of the green, and England, like you said, shooting themselves in the foot. They had some decisions that went against them that led to 2 contentious tries. So often we talk about the Wales red card conspiracy. Now it's the Wales and French rugby unions, they have their own refereeing laws. So, but hey, you got to take your luck when your luck comes, right? And I think Alan Wynne-Jones said it the best. The Welsh captain said it best at the end of the game. He said, "You know what? I've been on the other side of many of those decisions going against me." So I was like, I'm happy that one went my way this time. I'm like, hey, look, we're all on side of bad cause sometimes, but hey, it is what it is. 100%. And it didn't. And I think the narrative of the game is that didn't really bother England, because England, after that second try was conceded, they came out better, hotter.
Yeah.
They were running harder. They looked better. And they scored before halftime, and they went into the changing sheets. About 3 points down. Everything was going. The momentum was with them. Wales were backpedaling, and the game was there. They got themselves back into the game after those two calls. I was like, okay, look out here, Wales. England's on. But then, like you said, they continually let themselves down. Silly penalties, letting Wales off the hook. Wales would keep ticking the scoreboard over with penalty shots at goal, and then the game fizzled. Once you get out of range. So it was a multitude of games within a game. Wales got on top early. They scored points. England got themselves back into it. They scored points. They had the ascendancy, and then they dropped the ball. And at the end of the day, Wales deserved to win, rightly or wrongly, with those two tries conceded. So
and now they're lined up for a Grand Slam, an unlikely Grand Slam. Okay, Rob. So I don't know if you can see on the screen behind me, we've got I believe it's the 2017 CrossFit Games documentary going there produced, at the time it was CrossFit Media, but the Buttery Bros. But what is coming up on the 11th of March, the CrossFit Open begins. So Rob and I both signed up, and you can sign up and see how you go against the two of us. We'll be using the hashtag Serial Trash Talking. We've got a leaderboard set up. So we'll track that each week. It's 3 weeks. It's a bit of fun. There's scaling for everyone. And even if you don't have any equipment, it's really fun. And doing CrossFit allows me to eat some Captain Crunch berries, which I've thoroughly enjoyed. Rob, I was thinking before this episode that they were probably perhaps number 4 on the list. But I'm thinking they're higher than that. I'm maybe thinking number 3. The texture is great. When they get soggy, it's good. Smell
test terrible. Dry test pretty decent.
Yeah.
Integration and Moorishness actually really good. So I hope I don't know if this is going to boost my score even more, but it's exceeding expectations, to be fair. I'm with you. I was like, oh man, Reese's Puffs there. That dreamboat, but
no, sorry, wait, just stop. Reese's Puff is still the cream.
Whoa! I wasn't going to rate it high. Geez, settle down.
There's no contention there. Okay. But
these are really good, DA. These are really good.
Yeah.
What's your rating?
I'm going to go 8, 9.
Oh, tough.
Yeah. I think that places them. Actually, wait a minute.
Oh, geez. Have you forgotten your scores?
I have forgotten my scores, but I think that actually pops them up again ahead of the small cereal. Quite possibly. So they're sitting in that.
You went 8.5. You went 8.5 on your
smalls? Yeah, that's right. I did go for 8.5 for smalls. So yeah, I think an 8, 9 on the Captain Crunch berries. What about you?
I'm going for an 8 on these bad boys, DA.
An 8. Okay.
I really enjoy them. I think I'm gonna even them out with smalls. So those scores could easily both be underdone now that I've gone through your. This is your top 5, DA.
I'm actually going to set 8.5 as well. I'm sorry, I'm changing to 8.5. I
love that how you done it with like a mouthful, and it's like you're wishing it around in your mouth, like, oh no, that's an 8.5 taste. That's an 8.5 taste for damn sure. And I know that we've gone through your top 5 now, right? And I've thoroughly enjoyed these. Basically the 5 weeks that we've done them all, and clearly there might be some scaling between my Captain Crunch berries and my smalls, but they are just fantastic cereals, I think. So, and they've all got their positives and negatives, but I'm happy to put that with smalls at 8 for sure.
Yeah,
above expectations for sure.
Wonderful. So, Rob, why don't you take us out?
All right, dear. All right, team. Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me, NDA, on today's episode to run through what's happening in the NBA, the NFL, and the Six Nations now. So as you know, as we go through the different weeks, we are involved in all sports. We love all sports. So fantastic. Thank you for tuning in. If you like this episode, smash that like button, smash that subscribe, turn on your notifications, and tune in next week for more of the hottest takes in sport and more serial reviews. Have a great one.
That's it.